You guys ready for some news? Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. I know you've been waiting. You got your robe open. It's time for the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. Got to remind everybody that on 5/22, I made my predictions for the Trump presidency. I went, there were people who said, Mario, are you sure you want to do this? First of all, they question everything I do on Facebook. Am I too public with things? And I remind people that I have no wife, no children, no employer. So you just have to get me directly because they can't complain to my woman, you can't bug my kids, and I no longer work really for Kaiser Permanente. So I'm out here on my own. And on 5/22, I made my prediction for the Trump presidency, and people were shocked. I've reposted that episode on Facebook a number of times, and it's available on YouTube because I wanted to go on record for what I saw. And my predictions were done, again, with no inside information. I'm not privy to any special reports. I read and watch the same things you do, except I probably watch a bit more Fox television because I believe you have to watch your enemies closely. And so I try to watch as much Fox television as I can stand, but it causes me a lot of indigestive type issues. So I can only take so much, but I do try. So I went on record 5/22 on this special broadcast where I predicted that the president would be impeached. I said 12 to 18 staff members indicted. And I said Jared Kushner would go to jail. And everybody said, oh my God. And it looks like we're headed faster and faster toward those ends. I also predicted, and I want to be held accountable for these predictions. Even though people say, Mario, what if you're wrong? I said, I'll say I'm wrong. I was wrong. I'm not the president. I have trouble admitting when I was wrong. So there's no particular threat to me of being wrong. I do my predictions. I state what I believe. And I live with that. And so I made my predictions. Okay, and so they are out there. And remember, mine were based on the fact that the president has established his patterns of operations. And I've also predicted, and I want you to quote me, I predicted an orgy of evidence, an absolute glut of evidence that's going to range back to even before the campaign, but that they end up tying everything in. And unfortunately for the president, I also predicted that 1 to 2 years after his removal from office, that they would try him for treason. People said, Mario, I said, he's got a lot of bad stuff going on out there. So, we don't know. Right now, the president himself is tweeting that he's under investigation, but his attorney's denying that he's under investigation. And meanwhile, remember, none of that information about him being under investigation came from either the Department of Justice or the FBI. It's all coming from the fact that they have asked people to make themselves available. They're scheduling people to give testimony. Once they started asking people to give testimony, those people and their sources are the ones who put information out. It's information that they now call a leak, which is not a leak. It's not a leak. It's just an overuse of the word, but it's not a leak. So those people, they get a call from the Justice Department saying, we want to have you come in as a witness and give testimony. And you get your attorney, and your people let it out. The only reason they could be calling you is because it's about the president. So that's where all that comes from. But the Department of Justice, I told you, you wouldn't hear anything from Mueller. Remember I told you? Nothing. But you would hear nothing from him because they have so much information and so much stuff to hit, so many areas, that they have to bring on extra prosecutors, extra staff, and get ready to hit you with the most startling day in American history, probably since World War II. So we're going to see. That's what I have predicted. So it's moving further along, faster. I said everything would start. I said it would start within 120 days. It's like it's going to start way ahead of 120 days. It's going to start. It's heading to the start. It's heading to the start because now they're going to start interviewing people. And then again, here it comes. So that's the part that I want. So that's the first thing. Topic number 2 is the recent mass shooting that occurred at the Republican baseball practice. Is that the tipping point? See, in American history, there's always tipping points, like incidents that occur that appear to be the final straw. As bad as it seems, and as negative as it seems, you have a bunch of people out there tweeting it's karma that a man who refused to make any movement on gun control gets shot. This is the kind of stuff. There's a lot of ill will, and to me, the president set the tone that now everybody feels very comfortable in being insulting to everybody. It's like it's in to be insulting, even though the degree to which I'm insulting has been consistent over the years. But it's in to be insulting. But is that the tipping point? Because now you have the Congress, the Senate, they're looking for more protection. Previously, they could move around and do whatever else they needed to do. But again, no. So that may be, you may have just witnessed the tipping point that leads to gun control. Topic 3. So the U.S. shot down a Syrian jet fighter. News just came out, you guys, and I tried to get some more information. But from what I can tell, the key points, because I didn't have the time to get everything. Remember, we don't have that staff of 20.
Really?
Yeah, I had to go look it up myself.
Right.
So, Vic, it looks like, for one, that the U.S. had declared that they were going to enforce this zone.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Some 10, 12 hours. They actually sent special communications to the Russians, once again warning them that they would be doing this.
Right.
Now, sometime later, the Syrian jet fighter. Now, imagine you're the Syrian. I bet they took number 29 on the skill set list. Whoever's at the bottom. Okay, you're the worst friggin' fighter we have, so today you're going to be flying into the Americans said they're going to shoot everything down in this zone, and we have to test them.
That's jacked up.
So we're going to send your ass out there in this plane. Imagine that poor guy
Right.
flying his plane. One fighter.
That's cold, man.
Shot his ass down. And you know he was like the sacrificial lamb, right? So I always have a different point of view. I imagine how he felt climbing in the jet fighter that day.
Right.
Because they shot his ass down to make a point.
Right.
To make a point. Because they told the Russians, and the fighter had bombed some civilians, which is what they have been doing. So
Right.
the causes, the reasonings that are offered up, whether they are believable or relevant in this context, are the same.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So more on that. The Russians said now that American flight planes, whatever, jets, fighters, whatever, that go into the zone will be considered intruders, whatever that means. So now the Russians might shoot down with our planes. Now, I don't think the Russians will shoot that, because that might mess up Putin and Trump's romantic relationship. I don't know which one's giving the head, but somebody's doing something.
That's wrong, man.
So,
That's wrong.
I'm saying.
That's just going.
I'm just saying. So that happened today. Okay, topic 4. Bill Cosby. You know, you guys, okay, 50. I'm amazed at the wide-ranging opinions on this, so I'm not going to take sides in that way, because people are really vehemently expressing themselves. Okay, and it's a right. Not everybody thinks Bill is guilty. Now, my thing is, I do think he's guilty. I think 50 people, including Beverly Johnson, a bunch of credible folks who have nothing to gain from this, have accused him of doing exactly the same shit. So it's a pattern. You know me and my thing about patterns, okay? So I talked about the president. Patterns tell you how they do. This particular case was weak. They tried him. I don't understand all the court reasons why amongst the 50 that this is the case that gets tried. I know it has to do with some of the accusations are too old, and they fall under that, restriction because of that.
Right.
So I don't know why the 50, this was the one to be tried. But it looks to be the most particularly weak of the cases.
Maybe they couldn't get anybody else to do the fight.
Well, it sure looks weak. And then the judge is not going to allow you to have a bunch of...
Right.
I watch Law and Order, okay? I watch Law and Order, and I know the law.
Right.
And even I know they don't allow you to bring in all these extra witnesses, to come in and testify because it's supposed to prejudice the jury and all that. So they don't do. They let one in. I don't know how good her story was. But they let one.
Right.
Miss Constant, her case was particularly weak because she had almost 70 communications with him, 50 of which she started. Plus, she requested tickets for a show and sent him something for. So first thing, even if you think somebody raped you, don't send them gifts. Send and give them love calls or whatever. Okay? Because, see, these are the kind of cases I hate. And I hate it because it makes those of us who don't like the case look bad, whereas to me, the real insults never get attention. We did a story about how in L.A. County, 75% of the rapes had never been investigated. I mean, they didn't even go out and take a history. This is real shit. We talked about how they had almost 400,000, rape kits yet to be processed. That's real stuff. But then we got Valerie Constant with her rape case, and she's sending out love letters. See, a different case. See, this is why I'm pissed.
Why should you be pissed?
I'm pissed because I'm disgusted with Bill Cosby. And I don't care if you 80, 90, if they should come get you out your bed and take you to jail. I don't care if you blind, incontinent, whatever you got, get your ass up and get in the car and go to jail. Because that's what I feel.
Right.
Once you do that, there is no sympathy for me for that.
So you're talking about the stupidity of the people who are on the other side accusing.
I don't want to say their stupidity because a lot of them didn't come forward for reasons I totally understand.
Well,
the pressure of the times, people don't remember. They don't take, even like I said, in recent times, 400, whatever, rape kits not processed, 75% LA County rapes not even invested. All of that is mess. So people were under pressure.
Right.
We haven't had, it was like a black man accusing a white man of physical harassment. You weren't going to get a guilty plea, period. It's like they don't give white folks the death penalty for killing black people. It almost doesn't happen.
Well, I'm going to get you mad at a lot of people in America right now. A factoid that came out this morning.
Oh, no.
Said 75% of the people think chocolate milk comes from a brown cow.
50% of the American public can't identify the Pacific Ocean on the globe.
75, I got you beat.
But that's worse than a brown cow.
A brown cow.
When people are getting stupid. Now, I don't even blame them because we stopped investing. Part of the weight issues, they came out with studies that say when you actually get the kids to exercise, they learn better. No shit. Healthy people learn better. We stop investing in people, we stop investing in kids, and people are stupid, so they believe stuff. Trump has those people, and so we move. Anyway, that's some back on Trump. Anyway, Cosby. So, they shouldn't retry the case because it's the same weak case. Well, no, let me say that. Okay, see, this shows you how we can change. Sometimes you retry a case, get a totally different jury, and you get a different outcome. It does happen. I must admit I'm a real doubter of this case, but it's probably worth a try. The district attorney, I don't know how good a case he prepared. I'm not an attorney. And he was politically motivated, at least to some degree, because it was an issue in his campaign that he was going to get Cosby. So, retrying it, I guess that's a good idea. I don't know. We will see. I said I'm still very much disappointed. I can't watch Bill Cosby or play Fat Albert stuff or any of that because I feel disgusted. Now, last thing, and something that's not too, at least is better. I have one of them. Okay. Maybe we'll do that. Couple things. One, something interesting, and that's not Trump or Cosby. Did you know that that the tech giants are investing hardcore in developing smart contact lenses? They got some good shit, you guys, because they're able to, what they're kind of doing is putting it between two soft contact lenses. So it's it's going to be thicker. It's going to feel like two soft but in terms of smart contact lenses that allow you to interact in all kinds of fanciful ways.
Okay.
It's coming.
Oh, good.
You got like 6 different companies that have prototypes.
Oh, I like that.
So you got, you got that stuff. All right. Now, let me see. On the way out, I know how some of y'all are about the classics. Some of y'all, the classics not working for some of y'all. But some of you do remember the classics. And I took a poem, a very famous poem, Casey at the Bat.
Good morning, you guys. Good morning.
And I rewrote the poem Casey at the Bat to reflect Donald Trump. And I put it up on YouTube. And so here is Mario's Casey at the Bat. And I dressed up for the video.
The outlook wasn't brilliant for the White House 9 that day. The score stood 4-2, with but 1 inning more to play. And then when Comey testified and others did the same, a pall-like silence fell upon the patrons of the game. A straggling few got up to go in deep despair. The rest clung to the hope which springs eternal in the human breast. They thought, if only the Donald could but get a whack at that. We put up even money now with Donald at the bat. But Flynn preceded Donald. A.G. Sessions began to squirm, and the former had a screw loose while the latter was a worm. So upon that stricken multitude grim melancholy sat, for there seemed but little chance of the Donald getting to the bat. But Flynn let drive a single, to the wonderment of all. A.G. Sessions, the much despised, he tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had lifted and men saw what had occurred, there was Sessions safe at second, and Flynn a hugging third. Then from 5,000 throats and more, there rose a lusty yell. It rumbled through the valley, it rattled in the dell. It pounded on the mountain, then recoiled upon the flat, for Donald, mighty Donald, was advancing to the bat. There was ease in Donald's manner as he stepped into his place. There was pride in Donald's bearing, and a smile lit Donald's face. And when responding to the cheers, he lightly doffed his hat, no stranger in the crowd could doubt 'twas the Donald at the bat. 10,000 eyes were on him as he rubbed his hands with dirt. 5,000 tongues applauded when he wiped them on his shirt. Then while the writhing pitcher ground the ball into his hip, defiance flashed in Donald's eye. A sneer curled Donald's lip. And now the leather-covered sphere came hurtling through the air, and the Donald stood a-watching it in haughty grandeur there. Close by the sturdy batsman, the ball unheeded sped. That ain't my style, said Donald. Strike one, the umpire said. From the benches black with people, there went up a muffled roar, like the beating of the storm waves on a stern and distant shore. Kill him! Kill the umpire! Shouted someone on the stand, and it's likely they'd have killed him had the Donald raised his hand. With a smile of Christian charity, the Donald's visage shone. He stilled the rising tumult. He bade the game go on. He signaled to the pitcher, and once more the dun sphere flew, but the Donald still ignored it, and the umpire said, "Strike 2." "Fraud," cried the maddened thousands, and the echo answered, "Fraud." But one scornful look from Donald, and the audience was awed. But they saw his face grow stern and cold, they saw his muscles strain, and they knew that Donald wouldn't let that ball go by again. The sneer is gone from Donald's lips. His teeth are clenched in hate. He pounds with cruel violence his bat upon the plate. And now the pitcher holds the ball, and now he lets it go, and the air is shattered by the force of the Donald's blow. Oh, somewhere in this favored land, the sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light. And somewhere men are laughing, and somewhere children shout. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Donald has struck out.
Everybody,
Yeah.
that's the good news.
I didn't know we played baseball.
The bad news. Good news.